let's talk about one of the biggest shifts happening in technology right now, the rise of AI agents. And no, I'm not talking about simple chatbots or, a better autocomplete. We're talking about a whole new kind of software that can actually think, plan, and act on its own. We're talking about a new workforce.
So why is this such a big deal? Well, it all starts with problems like this one. 94%. I mean, think about that. That's how many shoppers in the US have just given up and abandoned their cart online because the search was terrible. It's a huge, expensive problem that our old tech just can't fix. And honestly, it points to a much bigger issue that's happening in every single industry.
All right, so here's the roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with what I call the automation wall, basically where our current tools are hitting their limits. Then we'll meet the AI agent, take a peek under the hood to see how it works, see some amazing examples out in the wild, and finally we'll unpack what all this means for the future of work. Okay, first up, the automation wall. Let's really dig into why our current tools are hitting a ceiling and why we desperately need something new. For years, automation has been fantastic for those simple, predictable jobs, right? If this happens, then do that. But the real world, well, it's messy. The work humans do is full of weird exceptions, gray areas, and it requires a ton of context. And that is exactly where traditional, rules-based automation just completely breaks down. And look, this isn't just some abstract business problem. It has a very real, very human cost. Just look at healthcare. Clinicians are spending almost 28 hours a week. That's practically another full-time job on paperwork and admin tasks. So is it any surprise that over 80% of them are feeling completely burned out? And this crisis of inefficiency is everywhere you look. Retail is losing billions. HR departments are just drowning in repetitive tasks. Developers are bogged down with manual work. Every major industry is slamming into this automation wall, and our current tools just can't get us over it. So it really makes you wonder, right? What if our tools could finally break free from those rigid scripts? I mean, what if they could actually think for themselves and act on their own to get a job done? Well, that what if isn't a what if anymore. It's here. It's called an AI agent, and it's a totally new way of thinking about software. Okay, so what exactly is an AI agent? The best way to think about it is this. You don't just ask it a question, you give it a mission. It takes that goal, creates a complex plan, and then uses a whole set of digital tools to get it done, all by itself. It's less like a calculator and more like a dedicated mission controller for your to-do list. I know, it sounds a little bit like science fiction. So let's pop the hood and take a quick look at how these agents actually work. So the real secret sauce here, the agent's power, isn't just its brain. It's the tools it can access. As you can see in this diagram, the agent is at the center, and it can connect to databases, apps, you name it. It's not stuck in a box. It can browse the web, query data, and interact with the digital world just like we do. The way an agent thinks follows this really cool logical loop. First, it plans by breaking a big goal into smaller steps. Then it executes those steps using all its tools. Now, here's the crucial part. It validates its own work, creating things we can actually check. And finally, it iterates, learning from what happened and adjusting its plan as it goes. It's not a static script. It's this dynamic cycle of doing and learning. That is the breakthrough. And all of this is built on some truly mind-blowing capabilities. These agents can interact with you naturally using voice, and you can even interrupt them. They have a memory, so they'll remember what you talked about before. They can tackle huge, complex jobs, pausing and picking up right where they left off. And of course, as we just saw, they have a whole digital toolbox at their fingertips.
All right, enough with the theory. This is the fun part. Let's see what these agents are actually doing out there in the wild. Because some of the biggest companies in the world are already putting them to work.
So let's start with Volkswagen. They've built an AI agent right into their car app. You can ask it really complicated questions, or get this, you can just point your phone's camera at a weird warning light on your dashboard, and the agent will tell you exactly what it is and what you need to do. Or how about Home Depot? Their Magic Apron agent is basically like having a DIY expert in your pocket 24/7. It can walk you through a whole project step by step, recommend all the right products, and give you that boost of confidence you need to get it done. And hey, remember that awful burnout problem we talked about in healthcare? Well, check this out. Hackensack Meridian Health is using AI agents to automatically summarize clinical notes. And the impact? It's huge. Over 17,000 summaries have already been generated, saving clinicians thousands of hours and tackling that administrative nightmare head on.
And sometimes the impact goes beyond just efficiency. It's literally life-saving. Color Health uses agents to handle all the complicated, messy logistics of scheduling things like a mammogram. And as their CEO points out, when you handle the logistics and make it easy, compliance rates just shoot up. This isn't just about saving time, it's about better health outcomes for real people. So, all of this, it brings us to our final section. We've seen what these agents are, we've seen what they can do. Now let's talk about the incredible impact they're about to have on how we all get our work done.
First things first, let's talk money. Because this isn't just some cool tech experiment, it's driving real financial results. Look at this. 73% of healthcare orgs see a positive return on their AI investment in the first year. But for companies that are early adopters of Agentic AI specifically, that number jumps to a massive 88%. The ROI is definitely real. And that brings us to the most important point of all, captured perfectly in this quote from Oliver Parker at Google Cloud. He says, the conversation has moved from if to how fast. The new competitive edge is Agentic AI. The companies that are leading the pack aren't just plugging in a new tool, they are fundamentally redesigning their core business processes around this tech. And that, right there, is the big idea. This is the ultimate takeaway. We are moving away from just automating single, repetitive tasks to automating entire, complex workflows from start to finish. It's about handing over the whole process to an agent you can trust. That is the game changer. So, I'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. We've seen how AI agents are already redesigning massive industries like healthcare, retail, and software. So the real question is, if they can do all that, what could they redesign for you? Thanks for tuning in.